Alright, let's see if I can actually do the Joker's voice. Not even close. Happy Halloween, animators! Chris Jaser here for ChrisJaserArt.com, bringing you the latest in animation, art, and tutorials. So last week I tried to do a live stream of this tutorial of how to illustrate in Toon Boom Harmony Essentials, featuring the lovely princess of crime, Harley Quinn. This was the first time that I've done a live stream before, so I'm thinking I'm going to do is going to take the live streams and save them for drawing events or animation events where you guys can come and suggest something I should draw, or even do a Q&A session that I can take that information and maybe apply it to future videos. What we're going to be doing right now is I basically deleted all the stuff that I did in the last stream and just kept kind of the two layers right now. So I have Harley right there and the hammer. One thing with Toon Boom Harmony that I love is the tools. Like they're really great for animating, but they're also really great for illustrating. And so, of course, the one thing too I kind of dislike with Essentials is the fact that the max size of the scene, so if I go to my scene renderings, is film 2K, which is still good. You're still getting like a 2048 by 1556 resolution. Problem with that is that if you want to do like a banner, or if you want to do something really big, it won't let you go any bigger unless you get like the advanced or the premium versions of this. And if you were using, like, let's say Photoshop for example, you would have to turn her down to like 50% opacity and then put a new layer on top and draw on that. But what's nice is that we have this, I'm just going to click off this button right here called the light table, if it shows up. No? Okay, well, I'm just going to turn it on. Oh, now it shows up. So you have two options when it comes to drawing tools. You have the brush tool, which I like to use mostly, and you also have the pencil tool. Now the pencil tool, what's nice about that is that it's a single line weight. There's no pressure sensitivity to it, so if I draw a line like that, it's going to be the same throughout. Whereas the brush tool, like, you can go from very thin to very thick. That's good. That's why I like to use that one a little bit more for animation purposes. So if you're like animating a show and whatnot, and you want like a single line weight, like in Rick and Morty or Bob's Burgers or anything like that, this would be the one to use. If I use my contour editor, so to select it, you could double click and click contour editor. It's usually on by default, so if you use that, and I'm just gonna select this object, as you can see, your anchor points and pivot points are going to be inside the line because it's the line shape, and that's so each time you draw with the pencil tool, you're actually making line shapes. Whereas the brush tool one, brush line, if I click that, the line weight is at the line shapes are actually on the outside, literally making an outline and then filling in with the pink color. And this is a great tool if to make adjustments as well. So I'm going to bring this down to right here. And right now too, I forgot to mention this, I actually have these tools on. These are the snapping tools and alignment tools. Tools. Yeah. So what this does is that it allows me to drag and snap to points and everything like that. And if I double click on the images or on these pivots, these comes up and I can make adjustments on my lines. So if areas I want thick, areas I want to thin down. Also, this is good for cleaning up points and getting rid of stuff if you want to go like that. So you can see how you can really create dynamic line weights using the brush tool with the contour editor to make adjustments and stuff like that. Alright, so I'm gonna go into time-lapse mode right now and just gonna quickly ink Harley Quinn together. I'm going to separate it out into 3 layers. I'm going to do Harley Quinn by herself, her hammer, and then the jack-o'-lantern that she's holding. So as you can see, my video for my time lapse is a little choppy. I have no idea what happened during the recording of this session, but I just want to give a little context of what I'm doing. So basically, I am going through and just drawing out my lines. I'm not really focusing on whether or not they are really smooth or anything. I'm just kind of doing it more as if I was sketching. Because I know I'm going to go through and adjust my pivot points. I'm also going to be merging certain points and really just strengthening the line weight on this. But right now I'm just trying to put it all out there and making little adjustments here and there. Duplicating certain objects, like for example the eye you just saw not too long ago, and mirroring it over so that way I don't have to draw the eye twice and stuff like that. Just went through and just inked Harley Quinn, her hammer, and her jack-o'-lantern bucket. Add little details here and there, and I separate them out in all different layers, drawing layers. So one thing, if you how to do that, you basically hit this plus sign and go down to drawing, or Control R to do that. So just want to point out too, like I was just talking about earlier about line shapes. So as you notice, I actually didn't merge all the lines down yet. Basically, it allows me to combine different drawings together into separate objects within the layer. It's almost kind of like in the same in Illustrator, where you can have multiple shape objects within one layer. And this will allow you to make adjustments and tweak stuff and here and there, and also add highlights and shadows using the lines. Like for example, like if I wanted this line to be white, I can make it white, you know, to add a little interest of highlights, as well as, you know, if I need to make adjustments, tweak stuff a little bit to make the best. So I'm gonna go through that right now, do another time lapse, and I'll see you in the next part of the video. So as I'm going through the process of adjusting my line weights and everything, I'm also thinking about where the light is coming from, what parts are going to be in shadow, and what parts are going to be more towards the light. As you notice right now, I just started coloring in certain ones to just so that I know which part of my drawing is going to be red, like for example her hair, and the other part is going to be blue, and separate them out and then merge them together. Now, once I merge them all together, what that does is that it allows me to move pivot points into other lines, and those will merge together to create those shapes. Like so, for example, you see on the bottom of Harley's hair, it's a lot darker and it's a lot bigger than it was when I first started this drawing. Just finished up all the line weights. As you can tell, I separated 2 of them with Harley's hair, one side being red, the other side being that bluish black you see in the comics. But I kept most of it that black ink. You could change it up if you wanted to. I personally, since it's a comic-based character, I'm probably going to keep her more graphic novel style. So I've thickened up the lines. As you can tell, you can see where my shadows are in relation to where highlights are going to be. That was just me mapping it out for myself, so that way you get more of a contrast. So if I bring up my original drawing, I did the same thing. Actually, shut this guy off. But now I'm going to do is going to start filling in with colors. So I lost audio to this, so what I'm talking here about is taking what my drawing I just did right now and flattening everything down and then duplicating that layer and then adding in effects by hitting the plus sign, going down to effects and shadows. What this allows me to do is I can use the eraser tool and figure out where my highlights and shadows are going to be. So right now I'm just doing a couple of highlights here and there, and The other option is just making a brand new layer, putting a shadow, and then you add a, you take your brush and just use a black and fill it in as well. But you also got to make sure they have automatic flattening down in the tool properties selected when you do this method. So here's the final look. Oh my god, like, as I was working on it, I started to get really excited for the final product. It just came out so awesome, and it's all was done in Toon Boom Harmony Essentials. Wasn't the premium, wasn't the advanced, in the essential. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of these, definitely hit the like button, and also subscribe so that you get notifications for next week's video. And until next time, I'll see you guys next week. Oops. Okay. I have, the sun is literally coming in and it's reflecting off my camera. That's why I have this little glow, and it's somewhat blinding me right now. Ah, my eyes. I'm gonna pass through this. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it.